one of his ones, and then I asked him what does essence mean, and he failed to answer it, which was fine. If you don't know, that's fine.
Yo, can I talk to you about Tawhid?
Go and make your argument. Is it a discussion or is it a debate?
It will be a debate.
It will be a debate. So I'll give you, what's the topic, I'll give you your time. So let's not, what's your name?
Just call me Bob.
Bob. Okay, so if we're not going to pretend it's a discussion, can I have a table? Is that all right?
No, there's no real need. There's no need to dramatize what we're doing here.
Oh, you think so? No, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You think I'm dramatizing if I'm asking for a table?
I mean, that's just an accusation.
That's an accusation. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So there's no goodwill. I have bad back anyway, so you don't know my situation. That's why I lean on things. Yeah.
So
there's no good.
Is just going to be.
So wait a minute.
I believe the composition of Allah is just going to remove the possibility that Allah is the first act, therefore necessitating that Allah, or rather the Sunni conception of Allah, cannot be God.
Okay, no problem. So you're coming. Let me understand your position. You're coming from a classical atheist point of view.
Well, no. I mean,
you're not a jack in box, for example, so you can't hold a non-position.
None of this critique is going to necessitate an assumption of theism, rather just an assumption of mereology. So, firstly, a clarifying question, may I?
No, don't jump into the debate. Let's sort out the constraints of the debate. 1 second, let me speak.
Yeah.
We take turns, obviously. Is like let's get the constraints of the debate sorted before you jump into the topic.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to only limit it just to that. I'm also going to talk about your position or your belief. Because I don't. 1 second.
Yes.
Because I don't believe you're a jack in the box. You have a belief. If you want to talk to me as a Muslim, that's fine. But I have to equally be able to critique your position.
Do you believe that Islam, of its own merits, can prove itself to be true and have no logical contradictions?
I do. Yeah, I do. In the same way that you assumingly do as well.
Okay. So let's focus in on Islam first. Then I promise you, for whatever is the result about our discussion about Islam, we will then talk about Christianity. Okay. Why? Because my critique has no assumptions that my position is true, rather an assumption of mereology.
Okay, so before you proceed, you still haven't explained, do you hold to classical theism?
Yeah, I'm a classical theist.
You are a classical theist?
Now, what do you think classical theism means?
Well, it's a model of God. It's a model of God, as opposed to, for example, I'll give you a second, yeah? As opposed to pantheism or open theism or other models of God. And
what model of
I'm also answering your question. Calm down, Bob. Calm down. So what makes his model of God different to the other models of God, like open theism and pantheism, pantheism, etc. So there's usually 4 defining things that makes his model different to all the other ones. And one is divine simplicity. Divine simplicity, David.
Hamza, you're talking to him, not me. Now, if you're talking to me, Hamza, we can talk. But if not, wait, I still have to
So,
wait, I was just explaining your question.
That's just being apathetic. That's just saying.
I was just explaining your question. What classical theism?
To explain. Don't be apathetic, though. Don't say that classical theism is not pantheism. Rather, say what model of classical theism you're pointing to, and say what it is.
Okay, I'm telling you, because I don't know what is you believe. That's why I'm asking you. But I think all right. I'm doing so far and delineating what classical theism is. Just have some patience.
So far.
Yeah, so far. So I could keep on talking anyway. So there are people like classical theism. It starts with, let's say, for example, the ideas of Parmenides and goes on to today's day. There are major thinkers in this, like Bohius, excuse my pronunciation of them. Most recently, for you guys anyway, Thomas Aquinas, Thomas Aquinas. No, I don't know. That's why I need to ask. It's not funny. We haven't made a joke yet. But if I'm asking, it shouldn't be funny. So yeah, you got Thomas. So anyway, classical theism usually distinguishes itself from other models of God in that it is divine simplicity, which usually says that God has no parts, passions, or he's not affected. So he himself cannot love.
Wait.
You asked me to explain to me.
So I just want to correctly your definition. You're not giving me a definition of classical theism. And in fact, the examples that you've given of instances of classical theism is incorrect. So for example, traditionally Sunni Muslims have either been neo or classical theists themselves.
Neo-Platonists, not classical
neo-classical theists.
No.
Do you know what a neo-classical theist is?
I know what neo-classical is, like Ryan Mullins. None of them have been like him. You made that accusation or that charge. Which group? Give me a group. Was it the Jahmiyyah, the Mu'tazila, the Ash'ari, who?
Well, I'm
No, you just made that up.
I'm not.
Anyway,
I'm not
so you
making
see,
things up. Now let's continue.
no,
with
no.
that.
Would you like me to finish the
wait, you've
first
just said,
question?
You've just said Sunni
You asked me a
Muslims-
question.
You just said that Sunni Muslims are classical theists, right? Do you agree?
No, I never said that.
Well, what are they?
I never said that. You said that they're neoclassical
No, I said
theists,
that
and I
either-
said,
I said that either
who from the Muslims are neoclassical theists? It's on
Okay,
camera,
well,
Bob. Stop interrupting.
classical
Bob.
theists?
You know, in court, you're not allowed to ask compound questions. That's because you take the conversation here and there.
Okay,
So
just
ask me a
continue with the
question,
definition.
allow me to finish, yeah? So there's 4 defining factors of classical theism, which is a model of God, as opposed to the other model of God. Divine simplicity. God has no parts, no passions, no composition, no distinctions, no divisions, no complexities in him. He knows this, right? That's why he's not stopped me. The other one is that he's impassible. That means that nothing can affect him. His emotions aren't affected by you, nor does he respond to your emotions. So, for example, if I were to pray to God, impassibility means he's not affected by my prayer. So God, for the classical theist, is impassible. Another one is immutable. God does not change in any circumstances. This is taken from the Platonic assumption that change is bad. But again, you have to prove that point, which I hope Bob does so in this conversation, because some things are value neutral. If I face this way and that way, not much value has been changed. So not all things are value positive or value negative. So again, if he wants to push the argument of classical theism, which we'll see, he will have to explain immutability, how a loving God how an impassible God can love, and a whole load of questions that we'll see in this discussion. So I've mentioned 3 things: simplicity, impassibility, immutability, and timelessness. Now, if I remember correctly, the timelessness for you is the idea of presentism, meaning that the past does not exist, and I know this is heavy on language, guys.
By the way, that's not classical theists can hold to B theory of time. You do understand that, right?
So,
so 2 things. Yeah. Okay. So far, what you've demonstrated to me is that you're either not read any literature on classical theism, which I will never claim, or you cannot give a proper definition. You understand that definitions are not examples. That's my first.
So you asked me a question, though.
Point,
1 second, I'm going to ask you a question.
I'm going to give you a response.
Yeah, but I've never asked you.
I condemn myself interrupting
you.
I will let you respond. I'll let you respond. So you've given me examples as a form of definition, which is not sufficient in giving a definition for anything. Second of all, do you believe that someone can hold to classical theism must also deny?
Don't change the topic.
No.
Engage with what I said.
I'm critiquing your definition. So you
said you're going to engage with what I said.
Your definition, which again is not a definition, it's examples given.
So what is the definition? What's the definition?
Okay, I'm asking you to, because you're the one.
Oh, sorry, 1 second, Bob. You don't have to. You don't have to move so close. 1 second, move a little bit. He's just in my face, my gosh.
You're the one who accused me of being a classical theist. I simply want to know what this means.
He said I accused him. Did you accuse him or did I ask him?
Okay,
and then he answered. So don't say I accused you.
Which assumes that you already know what you're speaking
about. No, I'm asked you. And I've asked you. What did you say?
You said.
What did you say, Bob?
I said. Can you define what that means?
What did you say before that? No, you said you hold to classical theism.
I said. What is
Bob?
That?
It's on camera. Are you okay? I'll ask you again.
Okay.
Are you a classical theist?
Yes. Okay. Now, what does that mean? Because can you allow me to respond? So you've given 4 examples positively towards a definition of the word. Now, firstly, that's not a definition. That is just examples positively
it's a description,
towards.
Bob.
Yeah, it's a description. That's not a definition.
So what do you want particularly? Give them. If I'm wrong,
an actual definition. Okay. Now, your examples given within your so-called definition fall short of what actually it means. For example, you can be a classical.
Just tell the people what it is. If you feel my definition, I said it's a model of God.
No, can you stop interrupting me?
No, just tell the people what it is.
Can you stop interrupting me?
Okay, go on.
I've got a question.
You're right.
Do you believe?
No, don't ask questions. Don't jump. Don't jump. Don't jump.
Critiquing...
No, if I'm not giving the definition, Bob. Okay, good. It's crap.
No.
If my definition is wrong, then he has to tell me why I'm wrong. Is that fair, guys? Is that fair? Is that fair? It's fair.
Can you hold to classical theism whilst also not supporting...
Don't change, Bob. If my definition is wrong, then answer what the question, the definition of classical theism is.
This is going to be the dichotomy of a successful discussion. Either I'm able to critique the definition that you gave of the word, or rather we pass on and we just concede to your definition, and I continue to my argument. Because
I'm asking you to engage in what we say. We're not having a monologue. So if you say, 1 second, let me speak then. So
can I
It's no
hold
good if we're not speaking over each other, right?
Yeah, which you've done
So let me-
consistently. So
no,
if you do that again, I interrupt you.
I'm trying to get into the crux of
So
the discussion.
if you
ask
again,
me,
I
Bob,
will
you
interrupt you.
okay, that's fair. If you ask me a question and I give you an answer, it's only feasible or reasonable that you also engage what I say.
Of course,
if
I'm
I
engaging in the examples
You
that
said
you've
you're not
given
going to interrupt. If I answer your question, which I feel I have, I told you exactly what the model of God is. I've told you that classical theism is one of them as opposed to why it isn't. I also give you 4 defining factors of classical theism: simplicity, immutability, impassibility, and I explained all of them, and timelessness. But he says this is not sufficient. Now, if you have something specific in mind, remember you have to make sure that your question is robust enough for us to understand it, not say afterwards and move the goalposts and shift it and say that's not sufficient. Make sure your question is robust, and then maybe I can answer it. But if you say my definition is wrong, please entertain us and tell us what is the definition.
Okay, so I'm going to respond with the examples you're giving and demonstrating that it's not a sufficient definition of what classical theism is. So firstly, you can hold to the position of classical theism whilst also denying that God is divinely simple, i.e. all of the attributes within X is identical to X itself. Secondly, classical theists, even within the Christian tradition, held to B theory, that time is eternal, tenseless, but semantically intense propositions. So 2 of the examples aren't even applicable to classical theism. You can hold to contrary positions.
Yeah, everything?
Yep.
Okay. So listen to what he said. For classical theism, he said 2 of the 4 things I mentioned are not applicable. And he used all of this jargon thinking I wouldn't understand. And he said time, for example. Time, because I said usually they hold to that idea of presentism. That's the majority of them. There's 2 theories on time. Sorry, let me just finish. So there's 2 theories of time. One is that time is universal, absolute, that it runs its course. The second definition,
classical theism is unique among models of God in that it affirms 4 core theses.
Yeah. Sorry. Let me do that.
I'm just affirming it.
So we're just.
You can get support.
Yo, David, my boy, he's interrupted.
Huh? Hey!
Stand there.
Okay, sorry.
No, come on. Let's act like that.
I think it's fair.
Look at this.
If
Why is
you
he
come
in
in again,
again?
I'm coming in.
No, he's giving me this, please. Is there a reason you stand so close to me? Give me space. You're so weird, David. You're weird. Let's act human a bit.
Okay.
One second.
So
I'm here to put pressure.
No. You
Don't
spoke. You said 2 things.
Yes.
Are challenged of the 4 things.
Yes.
So
Do you
don't.
agree
No. Now let
firstly?
me. No, I don't. That's what I'm saying.
So do you agree
tell
that
him to stop. Tell him to stop.
So my question was, do you believe...
Look, Bob, tell him to stop.
Well, tell him to stop.
Okay, he's only passed me the phone.
Condemn
Bob, he's only passed me the phone.
Do you want to condemn him?
Bob, don't act silly. Don't act silly.
condemn him?
Let's have a conversation. I'm not condemning someone.
Okay, a
It's not,
conversation which
what am I
is
supposed to do? Anathema. Oh, you this and that. I condemn you.
There you
Silly.
are.
Anyway, so silly. Anyway, the definition of classical theism, according to Cambridge.
Oh, damn, he needs help. Okay, crazy. He doesn't know what it is. He needs help. Oh, man.
No, I'm just confirming what he said. Well, no.
You see, again, he's interrupting. No, don't quiet him. Condemn him.
Well, he's
Condemn him. Condemn him like you
interrupted
said
him.
you can to me
Because
to
there was a
condemn.
source that he
See,
gave.
you can't do it. You can't do it. Yeah. So now, anyway, this is Cambridge confirming exactly what I said. It says, according to the doctrine of divine simplicity, God has no physical, metaphysical, or logical parts. What I said exactly. Instead, God's essence is His existence, right? He lacks accidents in the sense. This is all everything I said, yeah? Where's the part where it says the 4 things, yeah? Where's the part where it says the 4?
Yeah, the 4 things. The seat, yeah? Time,
so I mentioned there was 4 things, you lot heard me. And he said
so
no.
just remember this, yeah?
No, I'll say it so it doesn't.
Simplicity,
Where?
immutability,
Where is it?
impassibility. Yeah, there you go. It's here, look. Timelessness, there you go.
Class, so he said I'm wrong. Now
this.
this.
Google. Just for you. Hey, man.
No, that's fine. That's fine. No, let me. No, it's my time. It's my time. No, I'm not letting you run.
Okay.
He said I was wrong with this definition. He challenged 2 of the 4 definitions I gave for this word. And he's running. He said that he challenged it, and I'll get back to his challenge afterwards, yeah? But you can't act arrogant. I don't mind if he doesn't know. I don't know many things. I don't mind saying I don't know. Listen. Are you going to condemn him again?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So now, David, if you, I'm not gonna. Can you tell him to move back? Can you tell him to move back?
David,
he's acting. He doesn't know how to behave.
Okay, can I get a ruler? Is this to measure it out? No, you don't.
So
no. He has to
Okay.
move. We have to have a decent
Given
discussion.
the definition
I'm not
of-
finished. I'm not finished.
The woman behind you, man.
I'm sorry. How's your day going? Okay.
Given the
It's
definition,
good weather
I'm not a
today.
classical theist.
It's weather, yeah.
Given the
Yeah, we're gonna
definition-
get passionate here, though.
Given
So.
the definition-
But I'm trying to be as nice as possible.
So you're not actually arguing.
He,
You're
I'm
playing
rude.
the crowd.
So you didn't say no, calm down.
Play to the crowd.
Given the
Let's talk to him.
definition, I'm not a classical theist.
It's not his time to speak, mate. It's not time. His time to speak. Listen. It's not. My friend. Whose time is it to speak?
YB,
Okay.
are you timing it?
Can you look? Can you just tell him to move back? It's simple.
Okay, can he move back then?
Yeah, Rayan. Yeah. Okay. Now he said, it's my time to speak. Yeah, it's my time to speak. Yeah. He asked me. He said 2 of the 4 things were wrong.
Yes.
And he said, I didn't give a definition. I'll give you the definition, which is corroborated by Cambridge. It says classical theism is unique amongst models of God. That it affirms 4 core theses. 1 is divine simplicity, 2 is timelessness, 3 is immutability, and 4 is impassibility. All exactly what I said. Now he went on and said, no, that's not a sufficient one. If it's sufficient for Cambridge,
It's not like dramatized. I apologize.
if it's exactly.
Do you want to do a time discussion?
I did.
think so, 'cause it's
not-
about 5
Let me finish first, and then you can take the
So
time.
2
on,
minutes
yeah?
each.
So he said 2 of them was wrong. He said my definition
Start the
was
timer.
wrong. If Cambridge say my definition is right, I'm bloody happy, mate.
Okay.
I'm not gonna take it from someone in
So,
speaker's
an appeal to
corner.
authority.
Look, is you interrupting again? Rewind the time, Mr. Timekeeper. Rewind the time. Rewind the time.
Well, you've been going
Re-
for more than 2 minutes.
Look,
No,
you get-
I'm not rewinding anything.
Okay, so
Anyway,
alright,
so
after you
no,
finish,
I've not
we'll
finished
have
my
5
2 minutes. You gave me 2 minutes.
Well, no,
so you give me
going for
2
longer than 2
minutes, then you
minutes.
take the 2
Wait,
minutes
so
away.
just to confirm, are
Look
we
at the
starting
time.
now?
Look at the time.
It's 20
You
seconds
started
in.
timing it.
Are we starting now?
You gave me 20 seconds, then you took away.
So YB, we're starting now, yeah?
Yeah, well.
Okay, from now on, we're
Why is he
2
making
minutes.
terms?
Alright.
Rayhan,
2 minutes.
do you want to make terms?
Why is he making
Is 2 minutes not fair?
So anyway, the point is, he lied
I'm starting
immediately,
now.
said my definition was
starting
wrong.
now.
I proved my definition was correct to the T. Yeah, by Cambridge, I approved it. And later on, anyway, as we go, we're going to see some amazing stuff. What this definition of classical theism, what kind of God was absorbed into Christianity. Not all Christians. Most Christians would like to think of their God as someone who is interactive with them, dynamic with them, answers their prayers, responds to them, loves them. But the God of classical theism or philosophy is impassible. It cannot love you. He cannot respond to you. He is immutable. He cannot change. He can stop kissing your teeth. He cannot change. He cannot change in terms of his internal emotions to you. This is what's called impassibility. Now, I'll concede the rest of the time because he has to now prove, how my 4 points in the definition of divine simplicity is wrong because this was his claim.
Okay. So, firstly, let's just move on from the definition.
Let him start.
Given your
One second,
definition, which we'll concede is sufficient, I'm no longer a classical theist if you consider one of the intrinsic properties of classical theism just being the exception of a theory of time. If that's true, I'm no longer a classical theist. I may hold to the core tenets of classical theism, but you can call me some sort of neo-classical theist, whatever you may do. So, firstly, I want to start with my critique, given a formal argument of Allah. Of course, you would deny divine simplicity, that all of the attributes of X are identical to X itself. Now, given this supposition of what I hold to as parthood, being less than the whole itself, although you would say they're inseparable from the whole itself, being less than the whole itself, if Allah possesses attributes that are less than the whole himself, that means he is composed of parts. Being composed rejects that he is the first act, because the first act would be the composition of Allah. Therefore, rejecting the possibility that God is the first principle to which we would establish through natural theology being sufficient in contingency. Now, your second point being impassibility.
1 minute left.
So we would reject intrinsic change within God. But for example, through the doctrine of the EED, and again, you're not going to go on to critique this, rather you just mentioned this on my position. This is not the focus of discussion. So I want to make it very careful that you are supposed to address the first part of my argument, not the second. It's just a mentioning of my position because you slightly brought this up as a critique rhetorically. So, EED is the doctrine that through God's energies, which is formally distinct from God, he's able to dynamically interact with creation, right? And the energies are dynamic in a sense, but of course, God is immutable. Intrinsically, God cannot change. I can see the rest of my time.
Did anyone?
Tell me you're ready.
Go. Did anyone understand anything that was said there? Now this is meant to be a simple God. Now, okay, can you time it? Because I'm not having this. I'm not having this crossover. That's so cheap. Look, stop the time, Rayhan. Stop it. Look, what are you doing? You can't do that when I'm speaking.
Yes, I can, because
no, you can't. You lot have some etiquette.
Wait a second.
This is not the first time. No. This is not the first time. Don't point at me. Don't point at me like you're some bad man. Calm yourself down. That's what I said. Look, I don't believe this guy is a good Christian. I don't believe. I don't believe this guy is a good Christian anyway. Quiet.
Hands are in my pocket.
Okay, now he's going to time it. I don't need you to time me. He's going to time me. And if he interferes again for like the 4th or 5th time, you're scared. It's alright. I understand. If I was in his position, I'll be scared as well. Yeah. So Rayan is gonna know. Rayan is gonna time me, please. Yeah. Who made you look? This is not gonna go on. You need to condemn him. It's not gonna work. Come on, this is be silly. I don't go in front of you like this. Do you get it? Do you understand? And this is how the conversation is not Bob. Yeah, the conversation. Listen. Let's listen to what I'm saying. The conversation is not gonna go forward if I go like this in front of you. Is it? It's rude. Is it rude? Yes or no?
Okay, I can see.
But if he interrupts, this is like the 5th or 6th time he's interrupted. If Dave, in fact, can you ask him to show the gap? Ask him to move away, please. And he's annoying me. No, he's kissing his teeth.
No, don't worry about that.
Are you gonna ask him to move away?
Go behind the camera.
No, but you're not gonna.
I've asked Rayhan not to.
Behind the camera, I'm back. Okay. All right, go on, man. I'm starting right now, yeah?
No, tell him to move out of my space.
Alright, go on. Good stuff.
Okay, anyway, I don't think any of you understood anything, a lick of what it is that he's saying. So you have to break it down for the masses, innit? Speak to the people in the way that they understand it. This is supposed to be a simple understanding of God in his Christian worldview, not everyone's. His view, as he said, was classical theism, but now he says, oh, it might not be classical theism, it's neo-classical theism. So he's not making it clear as what it is. In the beginning, I said he's going to pretend to be a jack in the box, and that's exactly what he's saying. When I asked him afterwards, are you classical theist? He said, yes, I am. Be clear on your position so we can actually interact with what it is that you're saying. So I gave him the definition of the classical theism. 4 points. He said, no, it's not that. I backed it up with Cambridge's definition. He still hasn't interacted with that. So there's 4 defining points of divine simplicity. He then moved on to something completely irrelevant, which is the argument of composition, which I don't think anyone even understood what he was trying to say. He said mereologically there's parts. Who understands what it means by mereologically parts, apart from him and his crony? Okay, give us the definition. I'll let you have time, Con. I'll give 10 seconds.
Do you want to stop this?
10 seconds. No, 10 seconds. I'll give him 10 seconds.
All right, go on.
What's mereological parts?
Mereology is the study of how parts relate to a whole, simple and done.
Okay, that's not what mereological parts is. That's not what parts is. So you see, he's the only one that puts his hands up. He doesn't know it. No. Stop.
Simple. Mereology.
No. Go back 5 seconds.
You don't believe me? Google it. It's not my fault.
I asked him what mereological parts is. He gave mereology. So again, he keeps disturbing. So he doesn't know what it means anyway. So parts, mereological parts, yeah. One, it doesn't involve concrete abstract things. Like for example, if someone is merciful, mercy is not encompassed by mereological parts because mereological parts do not deal with abstract components. So again, he has to take his argument off the ground in order to say that God. Again, see, this. Look.
For some gum.
You know what? One more time, I will stop this discussion.
You're running away because you're scared.
Yeah, call it running away. But if you agree with something, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's the second time he's put his hand over me.
That's what you're doing.
And no one's asked you.
You're looking for any reason.
You ran yesterday, so no one's asked you.
I stood where I was and you all ran away. It's time anyway.
I know, but tell him to be quiet. You're the mediator, innit? Tell him to be quiet. Move. Tell him to move.
Yeah, but I'm being fair.
No, but he's putting his hand in front of me. That's the second time he's done that, and he can't. He knows. He can't answer. I gave him 10 seconds. He couldn't answer it, and then he gave the wrong answer, and then he kept on interrupting.
You guys can't spell.
Okay, I gave him 10 seconds, right, and he answered wrong. It was that second.
I asked for gum.
Yeah, according to me. And then, so he hasn't lifted it.
Do you know what, Hamza? Just stand in between.
Okay. So anyway, yeah,
Oh,
he
you're
has a
confident,
he.
alright?
No, just stand there. Just stand there.
What am I supposed to do? Tell me, what am I supposed to do?
Just shut up,
No,
wait,
he
no,
can't
wait,
do
wait,
this.
fine.
Look,
No, back
look,
up into
okay,
me.
it's up to you. He has to move. He has to move. He has to move.
As a 16-year-old.
Ah, come. I'm gonna debate you. Come. No, he's not gonna stand there. Come. Huh? Has to, but he can't be involved. He can't be involved.
Yes, you can. So,
No, he can't be involved. Otherwise, I will involve Ryan.
I just want to quickly refute. So,
No, do
you're saying that
camera.
Allah's attributes.
No, do it on the camera.
are
No, I still got 10 seconds. I still got 10.
So, can we
This
not-
is ridiculous.
can we-
Stand next to it.
Listen, I'm 16.
I've got 10 minutes. I don't care if you're 16. I don't care if you're 16. I still got 10 seconds.
Bro, is everyone at this park just petty or something? I asked for some gum and you're
Stop. You said you put your hands in the pocket. You interrupt me the first time. Don't lie. Don't lie. Exactly. So.
You did say you're going to have your hands in your
I've got 10 seconds anyway. I'll take that 10 seconds. Anyway, his argument of composition, which no one understands, wasn't lifted on the off the ground, but he couldn't prove what parts mean. He needs to prove to us that I must follow this understanding of parts to suggest God is a composition and then depends on his parts. He hasn't done so.
I love you.
I love you too. I love you.
So firstly, his response to my account of mereology is just faulted. So he said that Allah's attributes such as mercy is just abstract descriptions. He's holding to the account of mereology that abstract entities can't be composed, and rather the whole itself. Now, I've got a question. Would we then say, for example, evangelical beings are not comprised of parts, not composed themselves? Ontologically simple, as it were. Now, secondly, we have instances of metaphysical parts and wholes. For example, equations. These are abstract entities, actually what is real, or even conventions, still abstract entities, which are still comprised of parts. Now, my defense of my account of mereology, that parts are simply less than the whole itself, is that if you're keeping something out which is less than the whole, it means that you're not identifying the whole itself, therefore you're identifying something that's less than the whole, i.e. a part. Now, notice how he just equivocated on my labeling of my position, but rhetorically speaking, you've only done this to obfuscate for my argument. Now, where within this critique of Allah do I have to presuppose the Christian position in order for my critique to be valid? Nowhere. So of course then you're just going to equivocate on my position for the sake of not discussion or engaging with your position, defending the entity which you believe is your God. And again, notice that I don't need notes either. And again, you're not putting your hand in your pocket. Yeah. Just respond to the argument.
Yeah, I didn't say I was going to put my hands in my pockets. You said that. You lied. Okay, so, you ready, yeah? So he didn't deal with the mereological part. He just said if you have an evangelist being or something, that's not got to do with anything.
Angels. Angels don't...
Okay, wait, stop.
No,
let him explain, go on.
I just want to say, would you then go on to say...
No question time. I'm just clarifying your position.
What I said in my arguments, I'm not pulling anything new here, is that do you believe that angels or devils, would they be simple? Would they not be composed of parts?
This is not part for you to expand your argument.
Well, that's literally what I said.
No, that's not. That's not. So why are you repeating yourself then? Why are you repeating yourself then? If that's exactly what you said. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So again, he didn't deal with any of the problems that I raised up. Yeah. In regards to the mereological parts, he hasn't justified why we should believe in this mereological parts. Yeah. That attributes such as mercy, love, and all this makes a part of God. He has to get that off the ground. There are many positions which say that this is not a part. For me to agree with his mereological part, he has to give a strong argument. There are many things, for example, like Ibn al-Taymiyyah's position is that these things are qa'im bidatihi, they subsist within the essence, the attributes. So he has to show how things which are subsistent in the attributes make a part. Ibn Taymiyyah, he says, that these things are not mufarika. It's not like Lego, you can take it apart and take it in. And this is one of the attributes or definitions of parts the Sifatiyya used to give in Islamic models of God. So he has to again take his argument off the ground to suggest that God is composed. And he didn't even make the argument clear. I made it clear for for you guys. He's trying to argue that God is parts, and that part makes a composition, and God is dependent on those parts. Thus, he is not or does not have aseity.
I mean,
Yeah, you got 30 seconds left.
Huh? I'll go for a second. Okay, so again, he hasn't dealt with my questions, yeah? So I'm going to say there's two things. I'm going to give him the argument of Eunomian, yeah? He said that my question to him, yeah, to clarify something, are the distinctions between the persons, are there real distinctions? I want him to at least one question today, please. One question, guys. Are the distinctions in the Trinity between the Father, Son, and Spirit, are there real distinctions?
Cool. Time.
okay, cool. So firstly, we're going to stick on Tawheed. Then we're going to talk about God. Because very, very clearly within the discussion to which you agreed to, it is the premise that we are going to discuss on Islam. Then once the discussion is concluded, we'll then talk on Christianity. So, firstly, I did give an account of mereology. Even if you want to say that these are abstract descriptions, firstly, I don't know what that means. Are you still picking out something which is part in the whole itself? Now, Ibn Taymiyyah's position is that these are inseparable from the whole itself. It's not something which you can take apart from the whole, but you're still identifying something which is valued less than the whole itself. When you say that Allah possesses the attribute of love, you're still picking out something from the whole which is less than the whole itself. Take for example, again, he appealed to the audience insofar as saying that this is a very complex discussion. So let me appeal to the audience very quickly. Let's just take this as a circle. I say Allah possesses love. This is still going to be identifying a speck within the circle itself as a part itself. So saying it's inseparable does not go so far as removing the argument as so far as saying that composition, even if it is inseparable from the whole itself, leads to the fact that Allah is not the first act, because therefore he's composing himself. That is the first action within God. Now, I noticed that you didn't answer my question. Do you believe that angels are ontologically simple? Because according to you, these entities not physically existing would not possess parts. Secondly, did you not agree that there are metaphysical parts, for example, equations? These are things which are composed of parts, but they abstractly exist.
20 seconds.
So, I want you to go back to what I initially said on my defense of what a part in the whole is. Secondly, I think being inseparable from the whole itself is a non sequitur within Allah's composition. And thirdly, I want you to answer the initial question I gave you.
Okay, so this... Oh, sorry. Can I start?
Yeah,
thanks a lot. Okay, so this discussion agreed between us, and it should be on camera, visible for everyone to see, is a discussion not between a jack in a box and a Muslim. I use that term specifically. It's between a Christian who claimed he is a classical theist, but then said he's a neo-classical theist. So to this point, we still don't know what he is. It's between a Christian and a Muslim. Now, he tried to get his argument off the ground with composition, saying God is composite. He didn't make it clear for everyone to understand. But in order for him to say that God is composite, he needs to say that God is made of parts. So then he appealed to mereological parts. My point is that we didn't agree with this definition of a part-whole distinction. I asked him a question quite clearly. Is the distinction between the Father, the Son, and the Spirit, are there real distinctions? You notice he did not answer that question. When I made the first part of my discussion, he asked me, what is the definition of classical theism? I gave 4 answers. And he said, no, it's not like that. And then we got the Cambridge Dictionary out, or philosophy, and university, and it said exactly what I said. Again, he did not engage with what I said. He ran away, which is fine. As he said he's 16, I understand. These topics are a bit dense, so I understand exactly what I'm saying. So anyway, I want him to answer the question quite simply here. Is the distinctions between the Father, the Son, and the Spirit, are they real? If he says they are real, then you have complexity within this divine head, which is supposed to be simple. If he says no, there is no distinction, all the difference between the Father, Son, and the Spirit goes away, and you end up in modalism. So on one hand you're tritheist, on the other hand you're modalist. I want him to answer this. This is the Eunomian argument, also Haskell's argument. I would like him to answer these 2 questions along with the distinctions of the persons. 3 questions.
I will very easily give an account of emanation according to Eastern Orthodox tradition if you engage with the initial topic at hand. Now, again, back to the argument. he said that Islam can be proven to be true based on its own merits and provide a justification while there's no logical contradiction in its position. We're talking about mereology and how if this applies, my definition of mereology is if it applies to Allah, it means he's competent. I've already provided justification. So, here's the agreement. If he talks about a few questions that I gave him initially, I will talk about the account of emanation and how the three persons are individualized within the Trinity after the fact, because Islam can be proven of its own merits, not being that just because the fact that mereology is according to the Trinity, it's short and demonstrates that the Trinity is composite, therefore we should not take this to Allah, because Allah is proving to be true whilst the Trinity of its own merits is proven to be false. So, don't be a coward, engage with what we're actually talking about. Do you firstly believe that angels are logically simple, not
Islam.
Secondly, these attributes being abstract descriptors, that means still that they're picking out something less than the whole itself, even if it's inseparable from the whole. That still leads to the issue of composition. Although it's inseparable from the whole itself, it's still composite as so far as it is comprised of things that are less than the whole itself. Now the reason why I have to count of mereology is because if you have something that's less than the whole, then it's not being identified as the whole itself, therefore they are something that can be referred to as a part. Fourthly, we have metaphysical.
30 seconds.
Metaphysical parts like equations, abstract entities which are comprised of numbers coming to a conclusion of another number, which means they are composites. So, I agree that we'll talk about the emanation of the Trinity within a moment, if you respond to the arguments against Allah. If you don't, I'll consider you a coward to your own religion and more concerned about the issues of Christianity than is Islam.
Okay, notice all the gimmicks he's pulling out of their hat. We agree that we're not going to speak about one thing, we're going to speak about two things. I say don't be a jack in the box, one can go to the beginning, and this is the agreement we move forward in this discussion about. He's trying to change it now. No, you're not a jack in the box, you are Christian, don't shy away. If you run away, it means that you are the coward. I've answered mereological parts, it does not cover abstract things. Now, I don't hold to abstract, but what my point is, or abstract entities as descriptors, I never said that, he just came up with that. I believe that they are real attributes. He never bothered to ask me, but I tell you now, I believe that attributes of Allah are real attributes. But he made the assumption of this. So anyway, part meaning, again, he hasn't lifted his argument off the ground to say God is composite. He hasn't given us a good reason to believe. Look, you can't do that. You're good.
Why are you looking at his phone, man? He's looking at your phone.
No, wait. No, you're not involved. You're not, no, he's not. Now look, come here. You're the mediator, come. No, let him. No, don't talk. Look, I have not changed it. What does that say? What does it say?
Expenses.
And that between who?
Wife.
And?
You.
And now what? Have I written anything? Sent anything? No, exactly. These are my notes. Now say sorry. Say sorry. No, he has to. He has to now. Now he has to apologize. No. These are my notes, mate. No, he has to say sorry. For disturbing, and he has to say sorry.
But you know it's wrong. You know it's
wrong. Now, this is my notes, which I'm putting on WhatsApp. Now, they're doing this on purpose because they don't want me to speak, which is fine. Start the time again, isn't it?
But it's not fair.
Even the mediator is telling them it's not fair.
And you can't do anything.
Why are you looking at phone anyway?
And look at this guy. Dodgy Dave is always trying.
You don't need to know your business.
I know, this is between me and my wife. It's not for your eyes. This is notes. You know you're wrong. Wait. Can you see me send? There's a message being sent. Yes or no?
I mean, they're all deleted messages.
No, look at the time they're deleted. What time is it now?
I mean,
No, say sorry, isn't it? You're not going to, because it's your Christian ethics. Yeah, you're wrong. Anything. Okay, so this is the last part because it's going to go on and ad infinitum, yeah? He conceded this.
In your 2 minutes, you are allocated 2 minutes. You can do whatever you want in those 2 minutes. You hear that? Yes, you can.
We're done. They don't know how to do it. It's done. Anyway, look who ruined the discussion. It's Dave. Dodgy Dave. He had to do that on purpose. Because he can't answer questions and he doesn't want me to answer them. Anyway,
Hamza here.
yeah, look, done.
And needs to take his
Anyway,
wife in
attributes.
order to debate God. So because he doesn't know how to defend the fact that he's God,
Anyway.
he's composite, he runs away.
Oh, he's
Yeah, we're gonna. Let me finish now. Let me finish now. Yeah. I don't want to kick the brother off.
No, he's gonna go, man. Kick, man. You're going now, yeah?
No problem. Hey, this. Come on. So good. That's so good.
He doesn't know anything, man.
Huh?
He can't even philosophy. He doesn't know anything.
I
Trust
know.
me, man. You should explain to him what is this, man.
Anyway, no, this is the problem with the philosophical understanding of God. The Christians they adopted philosophy and it ruined them. What was meant to be a simple God became so complex that he can't even convey the understanding of his impassible, immutable, simple, timeless God. It sounds like such an abstract object. It does not love. It cannot love. It cannot give mercy. It cannot respond. It cannot change. It cannot do mujia or nuzul or interact with its creation. It has no attributes. We never go into the detail of it, but there's something called modal collapse. They believe that God's essence is the same as God's attributes. Now, if I tell you A equals to C and B equals to C, that means A and B logically are the same thing. This is exactly what they say with the attributes of God. In fact, they don't stop there. They say God's actions are also simple, meaning God doesn't have a diverse actions. He doesn't do muji or nuzul or this stuff. For them, he's one simple act. How can God be act? Actions are things that we do, but they believe act is something God is. We believe in a personal God, not a God of act, not a God who is a property. They say that God Almighty, and this is from Plantica, their own Christian theologians, he say that God attributes, if it is the same as God, that means God or God's properties is the same as God, it means that God is also a property. Again, poor guy, young Bob, was unable to lift the argument off the ground with the argument of composition and what it means to be parts. Ibn Taymiyyah, he says, as-sifa la ayn al-mawsuf la ghayru. As-sifa, the attributes is not the same as the essence, but nor is it separate from the essence. Same as the essence means what these Christian classical theists talk about, meaning that all of the attributes of God and his actions, they all collapse. We say no, that's nonsensical. Allah, he acts with his creation and he shows us love, he shows us merciful. He is not this philosophical abstract idea of a non-moving, non-attributable God who does not act to his servant's prayer in the middle of the night. We believe in a loving God. They do not believe in a personal God. Their God is a property. Not only is a property, he's an act. He didn't respond to what Haskell argued. Haskell argued, there's so many arguments that could be made. If God is his action and God is necessary, that means his action is necessary. And by extension, what does that mean? That means God has to act. And that means there is no freedom in God. So God becomes a prisoner. He has no choice. In Islam we say Allah, he has fi'al. He has صفة الفعلية or اختيارية, which means that he has a choice, and all of this فعلية is يتعلق بمشيئته. Allah, he acts however he wills. But these Christians, we haven't gone into the discussion completely, also say that God has no potential. He must act. He's actus purus, and we never even got into the discussion because Dodgy Dave, couldn't keep quiet, and he started a fight yesterday. But anyway, we pray for his health and his mental health, and I don't think it's normal. I do think this is like almost an epidemic or pandemic in the speaker's corner. Everyone's going a bit crazy. Anyway, anything I said that is good is from Allah. Anything I've said bad is from myself. I do not know everything. I'm not omniscient. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive me, to give all of us a good Ramadan in this month, and blessed month, and may all your du'as, your wishes all be answered. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum.